Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Dong Report, where I give out my favorite MLB home run picks of the day. As for yesterday, I gave out 3 picks on this YouTube channel. We got one of those 3 to cash. Thank you to Trey Turner. He was also incredibly juicy odds at plus 520. So we end the day yesterday up 3.20 units. That brings our total profit on the Dong Report season to date up to 70.45 units on the entire season. Insanely profitable season we are having. ROI of 12.77%. As for today, I got 3 more home run picks for you guys. Real quick, before we get into today, I would appreciate it if you are not already, if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just a real quick click of the button. And then also, if you could like this specific video and then comment, let me know your thoughts, whether you're tailing, whether you have 3 other players that you like, and let's chat dongs. So our first play of the day is going to be in the Rockies versus Cubs game. We're going to go ahead and take Cody Bellinger to hit a home run plus 400 odds at FanDuel. So unsurprisingly, this game being played at Coors Field, amazing weather game, 4 home runs to be hit. Definitely the best game of the day. It was tough to decide specifically which player that I liked because there were probably about 4 or 5 that I did like, but I ended up settling on Cody Bellinger. Settling's the wrong word. I do like Cody Bellinger quite a bit. He's not as hot as we've seen players like Trey Turner. And as good as he was earlier in the year, he did have a brutal cold streak that he's kind of come out of a little bit. Again, he hasn't been amazing recently, but he's been fine. And the Cubs themselves as a team are red hot. But the reason why I like Bellinger in this one is because of the pitching matchup against the Rockies pitcher. So they're throwing out their Blatch, the Rockies are, and he's really not a good pitcher. And looking at the batter-pitcher matchup, list this as extreme advantage in favor of Cody Bellinger. This is according to Ballpark Pal. Both of them are lefties, both the pitcher and the batter, but Bellinger is pretty decently better against left-handed pitching than he is against right-handed pitching, despite the fact that he is a lefty. His ISO rate against right-handed pitching is at 21.6%. That jumps up to 26% against left-handed pitching. Now, if you're unfamiliar, if you're new to my channel, ISO rate stands for isolated power, literally measures how much power a batter has. Anything that is 20% and above is considered great. Anything 25% and above is considered excellent. So against right-handed pitching, he's great. Against left-handed pitching, he's excellent. And then if you isolate that to a more recent sample size, which I love to do for batters, looking at the past 14 days, his ISO rate is 29.8%. But if you isolate the past 14 days specifically against lefties, it jumps up to 44.4%. So for a lot of reasons, I love Bellinger to mash one for us tonight, cashing our first play. Next up in the Athletics versus Astros game, we are going to go with Yordan Alvarez to hit a home run plus 330 odds at FanDuel. So Alvarez had a pretty brutal cold streak at some time in August. I forget the exact time frame, but it was pretty rough. The cold streak he was in August. And he's kind of come out of that as well, kind of similar to Bellinger. Now, he's not on the tear, like I mentioned, that like someone like Trey Turner is on, but he is playing well recently. On his past 10 games, he's got a total of 3 home runs, which isn't great, but it's fine. And he did just go back-to-back on September 5th and September 6th. Overall, if you look at the entire year, I know Alvarez did miss some time, but it's still a pretty decent sample size. His ISO rate is at 28.1%, which is considered excellent. And then his barrel rate is at 17%. Now, I haven't mentioned barrel rate yet. Again, if you are new to my channel, the 2 stats that I look at the most are ISO rate and barrel rate. ISO rate, as I mentioned, measures power. Barrel rate measures how well you hit the barrel of the bat when you make contact. So swings and misses don't count. It only counts when you make contact. And for barrel rate, 10% and above is great. 15% and above is excellent. So Yordan Alvarez is a batter that is excellent in both categories, which I love. The pitching matchup for this one, the Athletics are pitching Paul Blackburn on the mound. Another pitcher-batter matchup that is an extreme advantage in favor of the batter. Unsurprisingly, again, when you look at Yordan Alvarez's split against righties versus lefties, in this case, Paul Blackburn is a right-handed pitcher. And Yordan Alvarez, much better against right-handed pitching. Against lefties, his ISO rate is 22%. Against righties, it's all the way up to 31.6%, which is really good against left-handed pitching. So for this one, the weather isn't quite as good as the Rockies game or the next game we'll talk about, but it's still positive 4 home runs to be hit. So I absolutely love Yordan Alvarez to mash one for us tonight, cashing our second play. And then third and final play of the evening in the Braves versus Phillies. Let's go with Kyle Schwarber to hit a home run plus 330 odds at DraftKings. So this one's at DraftKings. So the scary part about this one, which I'll get out of the way first, is Spencer Strider is pitching for the Braves. He's a good pitcher. That doesn't completely make me not want to take a Phillies batter. The thing with Strider is he's an elite strikeout pitcher, but he can give up some pretty decent contact as well. He's basically like the Kyle Schwarber version of pitchers, where he either strikes a guy out or he gives up solid contact. And Schwarber has taken Spencer Strider yard before, so that makes me feel a little bit better. It's pretty much a match made in heaven. All Schwarber does is strike out or hit dongs. Strider, all he does is strike people out or gives up dongs. Not quite that one-to-one, but still match made in heaven. And similar to Yordan Alvarez, Schwarber is a left-handed pitcher who is significantly better against right-handed pitching. His ISO rate against lefties is 24.9%. Against righties, jumps up to 29.5%. Not quite as dramatic as Yordan Alvarez, but still pretty decently better still against right-handed pitching. He also strikes out significantly less against right-handed pitching as well, which is good for us in this case. Looking at Schwarber and his stats and his advanced stats overall, past 10 games, he's hit 4 home runs. He's yet to hit one against the Braves. This is their 4th game of the series. I'm confident that's going to change today. Just looking at his stats, the home runs are going to come. His ISO rate in the past month, not even looking at right versus lefty, just overall the past month, his ISO rate is 43.3%. But if you want to get a little bit more specific, in the past 14 days against right-handed pitching, his ISO rate is 69.2%, which is just silly. Obscene numbers from Schwarber against lefties. Confident he's going to mash one for us tonight, cashing our third and final play for this evening. I didn't have any honorable mentions for this one, so just going to ride with these 3. I put 1 unit on all 3 of them. Individually, I put $5 on all 3 of them in a parlay. If 1 hits a home run, we will at least be profitable. If all 3 hit a home run, we will be rich, so let's hope for that. Appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, comment, and have a good one.